4 prototypes flew in 14 months. That tempo outpaces every other 6th-generation fighter program currently in active development worldwide. The first 6th-generation aircraft confirmed in flight test was not American, it was Chinese, and it carries no vertical tail. Most assume America leads 6th-generation aviation, but Beijing flew the J-36 publicly while Boeing was still building the first F-47 prototype. This documentary explains how China compressed a decade of fighter development into 14 months, and what that means for Pentagon procurement. On December 26, 2024, a tailless trijet was photographed flying near the Chengdu Aircraft Corporation airfield in Sichuan province. The aircraft was trailed by a J-20S twin-seat fighter, operating as the dedicated chase plane during initial public flight testing operations. Analysts assigned the designation J-36 because serial number 36011 matches standard PLAAF convention. The flight date was no accident. December 26th is the birth date of Mao Zedong, and a deliberate political signal from Beijing. PLAAF Deputy Wang Wei confirmed J-36 as China's 6th generation. Beijing only confirms early as a flex. A second prototype appeared in October 2025, with redesigned exhaust nozzles and reshaped intakes within 10 months of the first sighting. A third prototype flew on December 26, 2025, exactly 1 year after the original public sighting, and as a coordinated demonstration. A fourth prototype was filmed in flight on January 30, 2026, bringing the count to 4 flying airframes within 14 calendar months. That tempo is the entire story. Boeing has produced 0 F-47 prototypes. First flight optimistically lands in 2028. China is operating 4 flying prototypes, while the American program has not yet produced a single test article available for flight. USAF official Andrew Hunter publicly acknowledged J-36 may reach operational capability before any American 6th-generation fighter. The airframe spans roughly 22 meters in length and 24 meters across, with wing area near 248 square meters. That puts the J-36 closer to a fighter bomber than to a traditional air superiority fighter in pure airframe size and weight. The configuration is tailless, with no vertical stabilizers anywhere on the platform, relying on advanced flight software for stability. The wing is a diamond double delta planform optimized for low radar cross-section and long endurance at high cruise speeds. The propulsion system is the most unusual element, with the J-36 carrying 3 engines in a configuration no fighter has used. 2 engines sit under the wing roots with trapezoidal inlets, while a third sits dorsal with a diverterless supersonic intake. This is not styling. China has no engine strong enough for 6th-generation thrust in twin configuration, so they used 3. The triple-engine architecture solves the thrust deficit and enables differential thrust management for tailless flight control without vertical stabilizers. The engines are likely WS-10C or WS-15 derivatives, the same family that powers serial production J-25th-generation fighters. The second prototype introduced 2-dimensional thrust vectoring exhaust nozzles, similar in concept to those used on the F-22 Raptor. That change traded rear aspect stealth for stronger maneuverability and stronger control authority during high angle of attack flight conditions. The internal weapons bay is the other generational leap, with the primary ventral bay measuring roughly 7.6 meters in length. That is 60% longer than the J-20 bay, and large enough to house operational ultra-long-range air-to-air missiles. The estimated combat radius exceeds 4,000 kilometers, roughly twice the operational reach of any current Chinese fighter aircraft. That range projects across the second island chain, with Guam, Okinawa, and the Philippines inside the J-36 operational envelope. Before we get into how China outpaced the entire American 6th-generation program by 4 years, hit subscribe. Yes, 4 years. The deeper story is here. China is not building just one 6th-generation fighter. It is running 2 parallel programs in active development. The Shenyang J-50 is a separate 6th-generation prototype configured for carrier operations from the Type 003 Fujian. The J-50 first flew on December 20, 2024, 6 days before the J-36 made its public debut over Chengdu. 2 distinct 6th-generation aircraft from 2 separate design bureaus made their first public flights within 1 calendar week of each other. That parallel approach is the same strategy America used in the F-22 and F-23 competition of the early 1990s. China is running this competition at 6th generation, while the US has not flown anything in this class. That is the polite version. In November 2025, satellite imagery placed J-36 and J-50 prototypes at Lop Nur, a remote airfield in Xinjiang province. Lop Nur is the Chinese equivalent of Area 51, a top-secret aerospace test site closed to outside surveillance and observation. Both aircraft shared the same flight line during August and September 2025 per commercial satellite analysis from the war zone. That co-location indicates active integrated testing across two parallel sixth-generation programs at the most secretive aerospace site in China. The Pentagon publicly confirmed both prototype programs in a December 2025 Department of War assessment of Chinese aerospace industrial development. That report stated initial operational capability for both J-36 and J-50 is projected by the middle of the 2030s. That timeline matches the F-47 schedule almost exactly. After years of confident projections, the Pentagon has conceded parity at sixth generation. China is no longer chasing American air dominance. China is matching the timeline and possibly compressing it through faster prototype iteration. None of this means China has built a working combat system. The airframe is real and visible. The combat capability remains unconfirmed. A sixth-generation fighter requires more than airframe and engines. It requires sensor fusion, AI processing, and drone teaming. None of those subsystems have been observed publicly on any J-36 prototype during any active flight test conducted to date. The aircraft has been photographed flying, that is, the dataset, and the combat capability is an educated Western guess. China still trails the United States in operational stealth coatings, low observable maintenance procedures, and combat aviation experience. PLAAF has not fought an air war since 1979. American stealth flew over Kosovo and Iraq. Combat, not simulation. That experience gap matters. Stealth aircraft survive through software discipline and maintenance ecosystem, not just shaping and coatings on the airframe. China has a credible airframe. China has not yet demonstrated the combat ecosystem that turns an airframe into a working weapon. Pentagon assessment is consistent. J-36 is a serious engineering accomplishment with operational capability in years, not months. USAF General Mark Kelly said China uses a system of systems mirroring American sixth-generation philosophy, nearly word for word. That mirroring matters. It signals Chinese aerospace doctrine aligned with American doctrine at the architectural level for next-generation combat. The Mitchell Institute concluded, the U.S. Air Force cannot reliably prevent a Chinese invasion of Taiwan in any scenario before 2035. That war game ran before J-36 was photographed, and the aircraft now adds capability to a Chinese force already projected to prevail. CRS report IF-12805 of December 2025 placed J-36 development in the same timeline window as F-47. That parity is the strategic shift. American sixth generation is no longer racing ahead. American sixth generation is racing alongside China. The strategic implications scale outward from the airframe. The J-36 is large enough to hunt American tankers at long standoff range. Tankers enable American fighters across the Pacific. Without them, F-35 and F-22 cannot reach contested airspace from Guam. A long-range stealth aircraft optimized for missile carriage can hunt those tankers and break the entire American air operations chain. That is the role analyst Bill Sweetman called the Airborne cruiser, a platform too large for dogfights and built for sniping. The weapons bay can house long-range missiles like the PL-17, designed specifically to engage AWACS and refueling tanker aircraft. That is the role of the 4,000-kilometer combat radius, to reach beyond American tanker orbit lines and engage the support. This is why airframe size matters. The J-36 is not built to win dogfights. It is built to break logistics. Different war. That logic differentiates Chinese sixth-generation doctrine from the American architecture centered on the F-47 and collaborative combat aircraft. The F-47 is built around drone teaming and pilot command authority. The J-36 is built around airframe range and missile size. Two sixth-generation doctrines are now in development. One built on networks, one on raw aircraft scale. The bill arrives in either case. Whether the Chinese architecture executes against operational pressure is the largest open question across the Pacific theater for the next decade. The fighter sprinted. China flew 4 J-36 prototypes in 14 months and matched the American sixth-generation timeline almost exactly. The bomber stalled. China unveiled H-20 in 2016, and 10 years later the flight test count remains 0, only renders. 4 prototypes flew in 14 months, 0 in 10 years. That asymmetry is the most revealing fact in Chinese aerospace today. The fighter is real and flying. The bomber stays a press release. The full H-20 documentary is next on the channel.